Showcase is so much fun. I've gone into and listened to lectures that I've never thought about before. And it's like, wow, this is so cool. This is so much fun. And I've ended up engaging in research projects because of it, going up to someone saying, hey, that was really, really cool. Why don't we create an idea and do something? I'm Doug Thomson. I'm a professor of criminal justice down at the Lake. So I presented a panel called "And Then It Went Horribly Wrong: How to Teach Research Methods in a Thesis." So it was me and 5 of my just graduated thesis students who were talking about how I run my thesis course. So one of the things I found over the years of teaching this course is that students get very, very scared about doing research and feel overwhelmed or try to take on too much and think that it should be perfect. And what I've done in my courses is change it quite dramatically. So in each of my lessons that the students come to, they have to, in class and also outside class, engage in a whole range of experiments. And sometimes it works, sometimes it goes horribly wrong. And it's to show them that research never, ever goes as planned. So what we did was recreate an experiment that I do in the class, where you split the class into 3 groups, and each group is given lumps of clay. They have to build as many small figures, about 5 to 10 centimeters tall, to build as many as possible. So first group, they get a full kit of clay tools. The second group just gets pencils. Third group just gets pencils. And they start building. However, the third group, as soon as they build a figure, one of my students then takes the figures, crushes it, and puts it back in the other clay. And then at the end, you see who builds the most figures. And then you ask them, did you enjoy it? The people with all the tools, they make the fewest figures because they get wrapped up in using all the equipment. And they build nice figures, but they build the fewest. The people with just the pencils, they build a lot of figures because they realize they've just got a pencil. It's easy, get going. The third group, where their work is crushed, they get really angry because their work is being destroyed in front of them. And then a couple of things happen. First of all, they get angry and they start building more. Then they get discouraged and just stop. And then you ask the people afterwards, what do they think of their figures? And, well, the people who had all their stuff crushed, they are angry because none of their figures exist. But the other 2 groups, they see their figures as much better than the other groups. And this is called the IKEA effect, where if you build something yourself, you value it more. And it also reflects on how we as professors do assignments. So you think about, as a professor, how many assignments do we give students, which is like taking their work and just crushing it back and putting it back in the lump of clay again. So the students have no agency over what they do and they give up. But if we allow the students to do work which they see as theirs, they feel much more engaged and willing to participate and more invested in it. And you could see with the people in the session, there was this massive aha moment, which always happens when I do the experiment in the class, where they realize, wow, this is so simple. So I had the students talk about their own work and how their own research never went to plan, but also really importantly, how a community was built inside the classroom where they all relied on each other and they all built these relationships that I think are going to last a lot longer than anything that I teach. Well, the students who presented in the class, I think for them it was a great experience presenting in a low-risk environment, seeing that they can do this. They can present in front of academics and it works. And it is scary, but they can do it. It reinforced for me that the techniques I do work. For the people attending, I'm hoping that they will realize that building community in the classroom is vital, that you have to teach the students that failure is a given, and failure does not mean the end, it just is part of the process. Things don't work. And also to reassess how we are doing assignments, that we must give the students agency in their work. And that for me is showcase. It's going there and just enjoying myself. And it's encouraged us to be vulnerable and ask for help and share ideas and then see what happens. And if it all goes horribly wrong, well, you can do a showcase presentation about it.